afternoon and welcome to Midday Live. Coming up this afternoon. Traders close to President Akufo-Addo's private residence at Nima in Accra move out following notice of eviction by national security. Pressure group economic freedom fighters demand immediate release of arrested mine workers in Takwa protest. NDC youth wing in the Volta region raised red flags over creation of 38 new districts without any from that very region. And in business, as the world marks Consumer Rights Day, we find out whether there are laws to protect consumers in Ghana. On the firing front, Libya issues over 200 arrest warrants for refugee smugglers. We have details of these stories and many more lined up, including sports and entertainment. My name is Wendy Lai. Let's start with our stories now. Our very first headline story, and traders and artisans operating close to President Akufo-Addo's private residence at Nima in Accra have up to close of day today, Thursday, 15 March 2018, to relocate or risk being evicted by national security operatives. A number of them started parking out from the area a few days ago to beat the deadline. TV3 News visited the Nima residence of the president.
I have just arrived in here at the Nima residence of the president. This is a piece of land that is located right opposite the president's residence. And per the directive from the national security for the traders and shop owners to move their properties from this piece of land, they are doing so. And I can tell you that it is quite chaotic in here. There are people who are moving their containers. Those who cannot carry the containers and they have wooden structures are doing so. The compensation packages that were promised these traders, I have interviewed some of them and they have said that yes, they've received the compensation, but it's just a peanut. And they're accusing the authorities, those who were entrusted with the responsibility of disbursing this cash to them, of cheating them. It cannot be verified though. Government said a compensation package has been paid to the traders from the president's own resources to enable them set up elsewhere, but the traders maintain the amount given them does not reflect their investments. Okay. Now, what's that move?
Oh, me go so my sister. Me dem afraid you call. And me dem no my fear no money ade the no man am the age maton yina. The be achiche. Because focus will be now they will not make a good one. Eh, baby, auntie.
Compensation when you be?
Me patchan. Oh, no, they mean to infant to job.
Unya 3,000 Indiana.
Oh, no, they mean to infant to job. If so, back, I know, not by a defending.
Pay for Oyanua. Oh, no, Omuji assassin is a car. And to be beer, yet the formoso. Ena omuye nti sa panyifo no se na heba bai kasa o sika kasa o mai so nchemo bia no on be sa panyifo na eni panyifo na osuma mu di bai esa mu fa sika ne mbra no on be so mu sika no omo no mu so mu fa the rest balance en fam breye na yesesie ye interest amamu sa enye
ye da say me hu say o da so bobo ne mamu wa hanam say
oh mo boss ba ko na gonwa na emu ayemre na mo bom ba ko e ma na odi kofi nya adwuma bi aye bi aye pack no ma na yakọ woni me dia won se de time na so ntina ye boy ya won nya se bi antoko bi ba ansa wa den wakọ
compensation you say yama obia na
nya de nya bi andra na yansa ka ya de kitua bi anso ay ba fa no sa
ahin na wonya andra
o ya ka be yansa mebre wo de me yanso mi sa
andra be yansa mebre
what about bi mu asia na amu ye na bi mti wo de yanka sa mebre.
A section of Ghanaians have criticized the president for his continuous stay at his Nima residence when the state has a presidential palace to accommodate every sitting president.
So I'll bring you some more on that developing story. You're still watching Midday Live. To other trending stories, and the Tiwangwa Municipal Chief Executive Michael Amu Ewuku wants government to upgrade roads in the municipality to befit its new status. Ashanti regional correspondent Beatrice Gaba joins us live from Nkaria, where the assembly is being inaugurated.
Akuma district has been elevated into a municipality status, and obviously this is a good news for the people of Akuma and Webieja. I have with me here the Honorable MCE now, Honorable Michael Amwa Ewuku, to share a few challenges that they think as the municipality they want to be addressed so that their new status will befit them. What is one priority area that you want to be addressed so that you can work chest out as an MCE?
The challenges within this district cannot be any different from what the president during his campaign and subsequently after his election has espoused to Ghanaians. But coming back to Akuma municipality, given the fact that we have been elevated, people expect so much, particularly in the area of roads. Virtually all the roads, town roads, are bad. None of them has been, we don't even have a kilometer of tar road within the towns. And this is one area that we are going to pay particular attention to.
I know you have a factory here, ginger factory, that is not very vibrant. Aside that ginger factory that is not very vibrant, what other potential is there if there is a need for a one district, one factory to be instituted in this municipality?
Yeah, we're not talking about one district again. As we speak with you, the president, the ministry has identified 3 investors currently. One of them is going to bamboo manufacturing at Ebuakwa. They will have fruit processing factory at Nkaria. They'll have what at Intensary that's going to manufacture corrugated iron sheets. That is the target for government. But it's because it's not government that is actually undertaking the progress. It's being driven by private individuals and corporate bodies. That is why we have as many as 3. And we have been tasked to move as many as 5. That's the target that each district has been set, has been given. And we are working at that. So Jankuba is coming on board. Then Dark Farm is also coming on board. So certainly by the end of the year, we would have had at least 5 factories all ready to take up. The Ghana District League table placed as first in the Ashanti region. And we're placed 3rd throughout the entire country. And so we have also sent out and told them that this also comes with responsibilities, and they are very much disposed to that particular responsibility. So there's no question about it. They are already in the mood, and I believe that I've told them that we need to sustain that. We need to sustain that and move up from the 3rd in the entire nation to 1st, and that is exactly what we are working at, and they have promised that. So you can trust us that we'll get very good results.
From Nkaria, the municipal capital, Beatrice Gaba, TV3 News.
Here in the Greater Accra region, I am Wendy Lai, but we're still staying on the assembly story. Let's head straight to the Volta region, where the youth wing of the NDC in that very region have raised red flags over the inability of government to include the Volta region in the newly 38 districts created. Now, a statement issued by the group describes as unfortunate government's deliberate decision not to give even a single new assembly to the Volta region. It is unfortunate development, the statement says, whilst there has been a celebration on the creation of a new assemblies, the people of the Volta region are left out of the pomp and pageantry. Now, this is according to that youth wing of the NDC in the very Volta region. Now, it is a sad day for the people of the Volta region, especially the youth there who had great expectations when the NPP administration gave a signal of intention to create new assemblies. The statement indicated. Now, shortly, I will be speaking to the regional youth organizer of the NDC, and I have Egypt Komla Kudoto via Skype this afternoon. Good afternoon, Egypt, and thanks for agreeing to speak with us.
Very good afternoon, my dear sister. I hope you're doing well.
Very well, thank you. Now, when it comes to the creation of assemblies, a lot of considerations are taken, which lies within the law. If you did have concerns about this, did you channel your concerns to the appropriate quarters?
Definitely, I thought I'm very much aware our members of parliament have done a lot of work on that, issue. I know the 2 MPs from the the Angola areas, Honorable Humado and Honorable Koshiga were actively involved in ensuring that they were going to draw the attention of the local government minister to the fact that there was the need for the Keta municipality to have a new district carved out of the municipality, because this is a huge municipality with 2 huge constituencies that for us, seriously deserved, such a package that the government was giving in terms of the creation of the new assemblies.
Now, in following up, when last did they have a conversation with the relevant institutions? For instance, possibly the Ministry of Local Government, especially on this matter?
Fortunately, from my engagement with our members of parliament, the local government minister is a member of parliament, so they do meet every other day in parliament, and our MPs, are always ready to bring up these issues, to the fore, and we're clearly committed to ensuring that they were going to help the local government ministry to facilitate this program. But to the surprise of the people of this region, all of this were done, all the other regions benefited, and our region was totally ignored, and we thought that this is just not fair to the people here, who I thought also deserve their fair share in terms of the decentralization process that will bring, development issues to the doorsteps of our people, that will bring the very necessary things that they need, the basics of life that they will need in the creation of these new assemblies, the facilities that will come with it, the decentralized institutions that will come along when these assemblies are created. So I thought it's just a total stab in the back that we in this region were totally ignored in this whole project.
And now, what has been the feedback? If you say they have been interacting, you mentioned that you were positive that this would have happened. But as we speak today, what has been the feedback on this very issue? And what do you intend doing about it?
The feedback is the response from government is not positive. And because of that, that is what has brought us to where we are today, where across the country, all other newly created districts are excited. A lot of, exciting things are happening in other parts of this country. But for the people in this region, they have nothing to celebrate in terms of the creation of this disaster. And I thought, the efforts of our MPs must be celebrated, even though we didn't get what we were looking for. They have done their part, they have played their part. If you take a constituency like K2 South, which, I guess is one of the single biggest constituencies in this country, has one municipality, we were expecting that they were going to carve the district out of that municipality so that this newly created district will also come up strongly and get the necessary development so that we can fast-track the process of developing our communities and bringing improvements in the living conditions of our people. So the decision by government to ignore all of the effort by IMPs in making sure we get, some of these, assemblies that have been created is totally unacceptable and a sad one indeed, and we are not happy about it, and we thought that it's a total disaster for us.
Well, thank you so much, Egypt Komla Kudoto. He is the regional youth organizer of the NDC in the Volta region. We're grateful for your time. We've been trying to reach the Minister of Local Government, but that has been unsuccessful. For a reaction on this very concern raised by the youth wing of the NDC in the Volta region, as and when we reach him, we'll speak to him for reaction to this very issue. But away from that, a pressure group calling itself Economic Freedom League is demanding the immediate release of some mine workers who were arrested for protesting in protection of their economic rights to work and earn a living. Now, the group stated in a press release it is also disappointed in government for failing to protect its citizens and aiding foreign multinationals in the violation of the rights of the workers. It said government has decided not to protect its citizens, but shows the side of what it described as foreign monopoly capital. It has expressed shock of the use of the military to intimidate now the mine workers to sign a redundancy letters and also compelled to sign a 1-month fixed-term contract with management. This treatment by Goldfields Ghana Limited in their quest to terminate the employment of the thousands of workers through an utterly unfair redundancy exercise. The release mentioned is in a clear violation of the national labor laws and international core labor standards, and also a breach in the current collective agreement. So this afternoon, I will be speaking to the convener of the Economic Freedom League, Ernesto Yeboah, to find out what exactly they're doing about this issue and what they want to see done. Good afternoon, Ernesto, and thanks for your time.
Good afternoon to you.
Now, what is your call for the justification of the review of the mining, large-scale mining in the country?
Well, thank you very much, and good afternoon to you again and to your wonderful viewers. It's important that as a country we reconsider the conversation on the ownership and control of our resources. If truly this current political administration we have is genuine about a Ghana beyond aid, then we cannot have Ghana beyond aid when we have absolutely no control over our resources. As we speak, about 86.5% of the oil resources in this country does not belong to us. It belongs to white monopoly capital. As we speak, about 97% of our, gold resources is not owned and controlled by us. They are owned and controlled by foreign multinational companies like Newmont, like Goldfields, like, mining organizations. Now, if you take Goldfields, for instance, even apart from the fact that the people of Ghana have been shortchanged over all these years, you have a situation where even the wage bill of Goldfields is about, 47.2% skewed against the Ghanaian workers. So workers are not even asking that they receive the same share as their foreign expatriates for the same work that they are doing. They are simply begging for their jobs. And then the sad thing about this is that you have a situation where the government unleashes their military to intimidate these workers into signing redundancy agreements or contract letters that has absolutely, that runs in total violation of the labor laws, in our country. And when these workers protest, the next thing government does is to unleash the army and the police on them, beating some of them to pulp and arresting some of them. Indeed, as we speak, our information is that some of, these people who were, mine workers who were arrested are still, in police custody.
Now, what proof do you have that indeed government was the one that unleashed these military and security personnel?
Who is the commander-in-chief of the army, if not His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Ghana?
You think that His Excellency authorized this to happen?
The army cannot be intimidating the workers of, Obuasi gold mines or Takwa mines or any mines for that matter in this country without the express authority of the political administration in this country.
And now,
and likewise
you are aware that these security services are there. They're positioned at these very institutions, that's the mines and the like. But these individuals as well didn't do right. Now, are you saying that you're okay with what they did when that situation happened and how they dealt with that situation?
Our worry is that there's a seeming agreement that white monopoly capital can violate the rules and regulations of our country and that of international labor laws. But you have not answered the question I asked. Before you go there, do you think that
what they did... But why aren't we worried
about that?
Fine, that issue would be discussed. But the question I'm asking is that did they do right? With the approach?
They did absolutely nothing wrong.
You think they did nothing wrong?
The fight for economic justice is a fundamental human right. In fact, the history of Ghana actually rests on some of these spontaneous actions.
To write to the police, to make their intention known that we'll be having this and that. But what do you take about that?
But to every law, there is an exception.
But does that make it right?
The 1948 uprising in this country.
I'm not sure that you just get up and say, I want to go and demonstrate. When you know that 5 clear days, you have to interact and speak with the police and make them aware that we're going to have this demonstration here and there at this time.
Unless we want to have a very mechanical approach to interpreting the Constitution, the laws are made for us and not the other way around. To every law, there is an exception. What happened was a spontaneous action based on the fact that government is using the military to intimidate them into signing, redundancy letters they are not ready to sign. And so, this is what is happening. You have a situation where we have one of the, union leaders, one Francis Yaboa, who up till now is being denied entry into the premises of Goldfields. Why? Simply because he's urging his members to stand firm in protection of their economic rights. So this is where we are. When white monopoly capital does anything against us, violates our rules and regulations, including that of international, laws, nobody says anything about it. But when our people rise up in protection of their economic rights, then that one we have an issue of that. How many times haven't workers, in the mines been shot and killed? How many times haven't they been violated and sacked against, the labor laws, in the country? In 2016 March, there was a development agreement that was reached between government of Ghana and Goldfields. Why aren't they complying with that, arrangement? So as for them, they can breach all the, agreements, all the contracts. But what do you intend
doing about this very matter as an organization?
Well, if the police continues to hold, these mine workers hostage against the Public Order Act, against the laws of the Republic of Ghana, we would be forced to file a suit in court against them.
Thank you so much, Ernesto Yeboah. He's a convener, Economic Fighters League. And information we have is that there was a meeting between government and the mine workers. We've been trying to reach the Minister of Employment on this very information, on the meeting and the outcome of that meeting, but we've not been able to reach him. As and when we do, we'll speak to him on this matter. You're still watching Midday Live. Do stay with us.
Right, thanks so much for staying with us on Midday Live. Well, Wendy has done her bit, and it's time for Business with me, Nanekia Mensah Brampa. Beginning with this afternoon, the Electricity Company of Ghana says it will only implement the 17.5% reduction announced by the Public Utilities Regulatory Commission, the PURC, at the end of this month instead of the 15th of March, which is today, as directed by the PURC. At a news conference in Accra, the managing director of the company, Engineer Boachiapia, said ECG has taken this decision due to its billing system, which cannot adjust or be adjusted to suit the March 15. Consequently, the new tariffs will take effect from there on from March to April.
The PURC announced a 17.5% reduction for residential and a 30% reduction in tariff for non-residential clients. It again announced a 10% reduction in tariff for companies situated in the mining areas. Engineer Boachiapia agreed to implement the new tariff reduction authorized by the Public Utilities Regulatory Commission, PURC, only at the end of this month.
Because of the billing cycle, the prepayment systems have also been programmed in that way. And for that reason, we are saying that when you purchase units for the prepaid, your records will be there. And then on 1st April, when we are doing the computing, it will take that into account and credit you. And you see a reduction in whatever reduction that you deserve would reflect.
Currently, management of ECG is disappointed that it requested for a 100% increase in tariffs but was denied by the PURC. The managing director has indicated plans for assessing the reduction and will petition the PURC if the reduction will have dire consequences on their operations.
If you listen to the PURC announcement carefully, they also said that they were going to apply the automatic adjustment formula. So within this framework, when we have determined the numbers, and if indeed there are losses on our part, we'll go back to them.
Meanwhile, the management has pleaded with customers to exercise restraint with ECG.
And today, March 15, every year is observed as World Consumer Rights Day. The occasion is to demand that the rights of all consumers are respected and protected, and to protest against market abuses as well as social injustices which undermines those rights. Now, this year's celebration is on the theme making digital marketplaces fairer. And in the view of the Consumer Protection Agency, the CPA, Ghanaians have nothing to celebrate since there's no bill bill to protect consumer interests. And joining us in the studio this afternoon to discuss Consumer Rights Day is Nana Prempeh Okujiabo, who is the head of programs and research at the Consumer Protection Agency, the CPA. Good afternoon to you, Nana. We're grateful for your time.
Good afternoon.
Now, let's look at this. From 2007, the CPA and its stakeholders have been trying, if I should use that, putting efforts in to draft the consumer bill, which will protect consumers on certain rights from government as well as other agencies. Now, how far have you reached with this?
Well, we completed the consumer draft bill as far as 2014. We were supported heavily by BUSAC. In 2015, Cabinet approved of the draft. And then we were supposed even to have our first hearing in 2016. We had a lot of talks with the Select Committee on Trade in Parliament. Unfortunately, we could not get our first reading. There's a new government that has come in. I remember the president promised seriously to let the consumer bill pass because he knows it has been approved by Cabinet. The Minister for Trade during his term with Parliament also made promise that the bill will be passed. Our little investigation is that the bill has been taken back to the Attorney General for a little amendments to be done. It's our hope and prayer that before the end of the year, we'll have a first reading.
Before the passage of the bill, if it should happen before the end of the year, would you say that the Ghanaian consumer has been treated right over the years?
No.
Why?
No. In many fronts and in many fields. Even though the Consumer Charter came into effect as far back as 1953, Ghana have been signed on to the UN conventions, but up to date, if we still are fighting for a consumer bill, then definitely it's not right. We have small scattered bills around in which we use to protect consumers, but that's not enough. When you have a problem with food or medicine, you have to go to the Food and Drugs Authority. When it's a standard, you have to go to standard. When it's environment, you have to go to the EPA and all that. That does not make it a sum up to protect consumers very well. So that's the reason why we are saying that we have been treated very unfairly and the time is now.
But aside waiting for the bill, would you also say that your agency has done its bit when it comes to educating consumers on what's is supposed to be their rights?
We have done quite wonderfully. I mean, putting up the draft alone was a huge amount of cost. If it had not been the help of BUSAC and other institutions, we wouldn't have done that. Apart from that also, we do almost most of the year awareness and education programs. We do a lot of press conferences, press releases. Whenever there is a need for us to have a press release in a matter that affects consumers, we do that. We also go to the rural areas, to the rural communities to also educate them what they need to do when their rights have been taken.
You would say that from 0 to 100 on the scale, how has your agency fared when it comes to educating consumers on their rights?
We are celebrating our 10th anniversary this year. We can say that we can put ourselves around 85%.
85.
Yes.
Now, let's look at just this recent. I just took a story on ECG pushing the 17.5% implementation tariff to the 1st of April, if I'm right at that date.
Yeah.
From where you stand, do you think this is a good decision taken by the ECG for the reasons they have given us on how they do their billing systems?
Yes, before they could even have the press conference, we deal a lot with the utility service providers. They made us aware that before they can put everybody on the new billing system, it has to take a little time because they have to adjust the program. And what is happening is that on 1st of April, if the system starts to work, even if we have purchased electricity by 16th or 17th, even if it doesn't reflect on that day, immediately on the 1st of April, you will see that your meter, which if it has 20 or 25, you were supposed to have, let's say, 30, will adjust itself to make you enjoy what you have enjoyed. So it's not something that they are pushing it away, but it's something that's going to take effect. But because of the billing system, that is why it has been pushed a little.
Okay, Nana, we are so grateful for your time this afternoon. And Nana Prempeh Okujiabo is the head of programs as well as research at the Consumer Protection Agency, joining us here as the world marks World Consumer Rights Day. Let's look at some more this afternoon. And Google has moved to ban cryptocurrency advertising from its platforms. Now, the move will affect promotional campaigns for initial coin offerings, Bitcoin exchanges, digital wallets to store the assets and trading advice. A notice said the policy would be introduced in June. But but did not really give an explanation why. And this follows a similar move by Facebook in January, which said many firms in the sector were acting in bad faith. Now, Google's decision will affect ads displayed both in its search results and YouTube, as well as those placed on third-party sites via its ad platforms. Also, the value of Bitcoin and Ripple has all dipped after this news emerged of Google banning cryptocurrency. And just before we wrap up on business this afternoon, let's quickly look at the currencies going to the Forex. Well, comparing last week's performance to this week, there has not been too much change, about 1% depreciation there for the cedi against its major trading currencies. The cedi to the dollar has remained stable, still at 4 Ghana cedis, 41 pesos, when it's being sold to you or you're buying it from the interbank area or the Forex markets. Well, remember the Forex markets might be higher than the 441, but the cedi remaining stable to the dollar doesn't mean that the cedi is faring too well. It means that the dollar has been weak for the past days now. That is why we're seeing this. But the cedi to that of the Great British pound has depreciated. We're seeing it being bought at 6 Ghana cedis, 15 pesos, and it's being sold to you at 6 Ghana cedis, 16 pesos. And for the cedi to the euro, it is also depreciating, seeing some 5 Ghana cedis, 45 there when you're buying, and it's being sold also at 5 Ghana cedis, 46 pesos. So we would still see if there are many changes or any other changes come up from the Bank of Ghana. We'll be giving you more. But that will do for business this afternoon. There's more on News 360 tonight. You're watching Midday Live. We return with sports. Stay with us.
Thanks for staying. Let's look at some more stories. And a 48-year-old man is in the grips of the police in Kumasi for producing and selling local and foreign alcoholic drinks suspected to be fake. Now, 48 boxes of the products were retrieved from his residence at Ijuso after his arrest.
According to the police, the suspect, Yao Nambu, alias Joe, has been operating Nambu distilleries despite having been denied license by the Food and Drugs Authority in 2007. The fake alcoholic product included Black Label, Red Label, Bacardi, Lion Aromatic, Schnapps, Smirnoff, Lord Jack. Ashanti Regional Police Commander COP Kenya Boa, who addressed a news conference in Kumasi, says content of the product will be sent for forensic analysis and the suspects arraigned if found culpable.
It's very difficult to identify the genuine ones from the fake ones, but consumers are warned to be very careful because it's going to affect our health. So we are going to arraign it before court.
COP Kenya Boa advised the readiness of the police to fish out all criminals in the region.
And more on that, the stories in relation to arrest, and the Oda Divisional Police Command has arrested 2 suspected armed robbers after a shootout at the spot between Akuma Santiman and Akim Aprokumase in the Birim Central Municipality. Now, the police suspects they are part of a wanted list connected to the Royal Motor robbery in Accra. Yvonne Ikwe's report.
Police reports indicate the suspects were on board a Toyota Highlander vehicle with registration number GR 8001-18, driving from Asamankese to Akimoda on March 12, 2018 at about 7:40 p.m. After chancing upon them at a spot around Akim Aprokumasi and Akim Asanteman, the 2 suspects engaged the police in a shootout. One of the suspects, Alfred Domeno, was hit in the right thigh by the police bullet and is currently receiving treatment at Oda Government Hospital. The other is in police custody. Their vehicle has been impounded. Items retrieved include a flat-screen TV set and other personal items. The Eastern Regional Police later discovered the suspects were wanted for being suspects involved in the Royal Motors robbery in Accra.
And 2 of the 3 persons arrested for possessing explosives suspected to be grenades have been charged by the Attorney General's Department. The 2, Ismail Ali Musa, 31, and Abdul Karim Yakubu, 30, have been charged with 2 counts of possession of explosives and firearms. One other, Usman Al-Hassan, 33, has been discharged.
Senior State Attorney Sefa Kobache told an Accra District Court Wednesday that, per the evaluation of the docket referred to the AG's department, the Attorney General directed that Musa and Yakubu be charged with the offences, while Al-Hassan, an onion seller, be discharged. The 3 accused persons, Ismaili Ali Musa, Abdul Karim Yakubu, and Osmani Al-Hassan, were on January 15, 2018, arrested in a house behind the Qatar Hostel near Kwashiman in Accra, following a tip-off. The police found 7 grenades in Abdul Karim Yakubu's possession, and when questioned, he disclosed that he bought them from Musa and Al-Hassan. The 2 were subsequently arrested by the police. The court, presided over by His Worship Ebenezer Kwekwansa, adjourned the case to April 12, 2018 for committal proceedings to be conducted.
And now to politics, and the New Patriotic Party says it has made giant strides in resolving numerous disputes that characterize the party's recent district-level elections. Now, outlining rules and regulations governing the party's upcoming regional annual delegates conference, Acting General Secretary of the party cautioned aspirants and the party's grassroots to uphold the rules governing the processes to avoid sanctions. Now, the party has outlined rules and regulations governing the party's upcoming regional annual delegates conference, and the Acting General Secretary of the NPP cautioned aspirants and the party's grassroots to uphold the rules governing the process.
Members of our party who, for one reason or the other, feel that they've been shortchanged in any manner, still will have to follow the grievances procedures of our party. To the extent that some of our party members are cursing and doing all kinds of things that are not correct, the party takes serious notice of that and will deal with those matters. But we are not going to encourage. Even in our traditional settings, most of our traditional authorities doesn't accept cursing and other bad behavior. Not to talk about even the New Patriotic Party.
We'll bring you more of that in our subsequent bulletins. This is Midday Live. Do stay with us. Thank you very much indeed, Yao. Next, we have international news.
Libya has issued 205 arrest warrants for Libyans and foreigners suspected to be involved in a smuggling network for migrants heading to Europe. They include accusations of human trafficking, torture, murder and rape. The Libyan Attorney General's office said the network included members of the security services, migrant detention camp leaders, and officials from African embassies in Libya. Power is dispersed between different militias and 2 rival governments, allowing illegal activities to thrive. The investigations into smuggling networks are being carried out in conjunction with the Italian prosecutor's office after a joint unit pooling intelligence. Coast Guard and Justice Resources was set up last year by the 2 countries. The director of the Attorney General's Investigations Office, Sadiq Al-Sour, said many Immigration Department officials had been found to be involved. His office had detected a direct link between smugglers and the Islamic State group.
Well, let's move to Sierra Leone, where our correspondent Phoebe Swell brings us updates from Freetown following a closed-door meeting held yesterday, March 14. That's all for entertainment. That's all for international news, rather. Next. That's all for this afternoon on Midday Live. Remember, this month, still celebrating Ghana. My name is Wendy Lai. Enjoy the rest of our programs and do have a lovely afternoon. Good afternoon.